Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming my 36th week pregnancy update. This is the first week that I did not work. So there was a lot of things that happened. Normally on the weekends we go out and go walking a lot, and we went to the mall and I have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, and I had to walk a lot slower than I normally would and had to take some pretty deep breaths. On the Monday, I had an ultrasound appointment. The doctor wanted to see how big our baby was at that point. So I went to my ultrasound appointment and they had told me that our baby was 6 pounds, 11 ounces and in the 50th to 75th percentile. So he wasn't too big for his age. He's just measuring very high, I guess. They said that they like to get an 8 out of 8, like everything they're checking for, they want it to be like 100%. And they didn't get the 3 big moves that they wanted. So they told me that after my ultrasound appointment, I needed to go up to the hospital into labor and delivery and get a non-stress test. And I had never been to the hospital before. So when I left my ultrasound appointment, they said you might want to go get something to eat because you're going to be sitting up there for a few hours. On my way there, I just used my GPS in my car. I missed the exit. I had to turn around and go back, and then I just got so confused. I could not figure it out. Once I got there, I was so overwhelmed and so stressed out. I figured out where I needed to park, and then I got inside. My ultrasound appointment was at 10:50, and I didn't get home from the hospital until about 3:30, 3:45. So it was like an all-day event, but everything turned out okay. Baby was moving a lot. And at my ultrasound appointment, they also said that the baby's head was very low. When they were they wanted to get some scans of his brain, and his head was not even in my stomach anymore. So he is getting into position. So the next day on Tuesday, I had my doctor's appointment, and this is my 36th week appointment, and the baby was measuring at 38 weeks. He was measuring at 38 weeks the doctor's appointment before, but they said that the reason it didn't change is because his head has shifted lower. Like if his head was still like in my stomach could be measuring bigger than 38 weeks. I had also gained weight because I had lost weight at my last appointment, so they said that that was good and they were happy with that. On the Wednesday, I was just thinking, oh, I'm gonna get to relax. I don't have to go to an ultrasound appointment. I've already finished my doctor's appointment for the week. I'm just gonna get to sit home, relax. And I had been on the top floor, this floor of our house, and I was going to go walk down the stairs. And I had kind of slipped and fell, and I went down 4 or 5 stairs and I landed on my butt. I just started crying. I called my husband, freaking out. The main reason I freaked out is because the baby's head was like so low and I landed on my butt. I don't think I would have been that freaked out if they wouldn't have told me just like the day and day before that his head is extremely low. So I was thinking like, okay, did I hurt the baby? But I didn't really feel like I had. And I called my husband, and he said that I should call HealthLink, and that's just where you can call, and there's a nurse on the phone, and you can ask them any questions and they'll just give you advice or what they think you should do. I knew that if I called, they would say, we want you to go out to the hospital just to get checked out. And I was so upset with myself. Like if I had just been a little bit more careful, I wouldn't have fallen down a few steps. So I ended up calling HealthLink, and they told me that they recommend I go up to the hospital, which I knew was going to be the answer that they gave me. They said that the reason they were concerned and wanted me to go get checked out is because your placenta could detach, and that's not like, that's like the worst case scenario. So when my husband got home, because he has never been to the hospital before, he got home not very long after that. He took a shower, and then we went up to the hospital. He knew that I had a really hard time getting there. So I said, you need to figure this out because you're gonna be the one driving us to the hospital when it's time to go. And he's like, don't even worry. I'm not even gonna put GPS on. I'm gonna figure this out and I'm not gonna get lost. And I was like, oh, I think you are, because you're going the exact same way that I did. And he didn't get lost. He just followed the signs that said H, literally, and got to the hospital with 0 issues. So that was a little slap in the face, like, oh, you can't figure it out, but I didn't even use my GPS and I've never been here before, and I got it on the first try. He got us to the hospital and we parked and went inside, and he saw the whole route that we needed to take for when the day comes. I'm not happy that I had to go back up to the hospital, but I'm happy that when we were gonna just drive there ourselves, we were just gonna do the drive and not actually go. Like, I wasn't thinking I needed to bring him inside, but he got to kind of see the whole thing. So I got hooked back up to the machine that I got hooked up to 2 days before that, the one that they did the non-stress test. They said everything was fine. I talked to a doctor, talked to a few nurses, and then they let us go. So I was thinking like, oh my gosh, like what happens if I have to have the baby tonight? Like, I don't have the hospital bags completely packed at home. There's still a few things I want to get. I still need to wash some stuff. I was a little bit stressed out, but we got there. Everything was fine. Before leaving the hospital, they just told me that I needed to make sure that there was like 0 blood when I went to the washroom. I wasn't leaking any fluids, and that I would feel kicks. They said if you even are slightly concerned about a decrease in kicks, to come back up right away. So I hadn't wrote down any symptoms through those days, but the next day I had wrote down that I was just exhausted. I was probably just extremely exhausted from a very eventful week, but I did not do much that day, and no food at all sounded appetizing. The food thing has been a struggle. Like, I would say the only thing, like, I haven't really had any cravings this pregnancy. If I had to pick something, it's not really a craving, it's just something I've had a lot of because I was always packing a lunch to go to work. So I ate a lot of yogurt, a lot of kiwi. I would say the only thing I would like kind of say craved would be peanut butter, because I ate peanut butter on toast a lot. There'd be leftovers in our fridge and I'd be like, nah, I just want to bring some bread to work and I'll toast it at lunch. And I had a jar of peanut butter in my work cupboard. Since being home, I'm still having peanut butter. So say maybe that's like the only real craving that I've had this entire pregnancy. My husband, he would probably tell you that I have been craving hot dogs. He laughs every single time that someone asks me if I have a craving, but I wouldn't actually call it a craving because there was reasons kind of that we had hot dogs each time we've had them. So I've probably only had 4 or 5 hot dogs this entire pregnancy. I don't even think that's meat like that you're supposed to be eating. But we had went to one of the malls here where we live, and outside the barbecue set up and there was people giving away free hot dogs. It was maybe like the anniversary of that store. So I was like, oh, let's get a hot dog. Then I think the next weekend, this was early on in my pregnancy, we had went to a furniture store, and I don't know what was going on there, but they had free hot dogs. So we got another free hot dog. And then maybe about a month ago, we went to Costco and I was like, we should get a hot dog. It was probably just, they don't taste bad, but it was also just really cheap. Like the hot dog and pop is like $1. It's like, oh, the cheapest lunch ever, and we don't go to Costco that often, so I was like, why not? And then we went to the movies and I got a hot dog there, and I guess that was kind of, yeah, I did pay quite a bit for that hot dog. There has not been that many times that I've had them, but if you were to ask him, that would be my #1 craving. I had noticed this week that when I sleep, I have been drooling a lot. This has never been an issue or concern or anything that has ever happened to me before, but in the last few days, I have noticed, like, when I wake up, there's like a puddle, not a puddle, that my pillow is a little tiny bit wet, which is kind of disgusting, but yeah, this is the first I've noticed of drooling, and we just changed our sheets from lighter sheets to dark brown and the pillowcases. And yeah, that really shows how much I've been drooling. I'm not going to show you because it's disgusting. But yeah, I have noticed that when I sleep, the weirdest thing to even mention, yeah, I've been drooling. I wouldn't say more because I don't feel like I drooled before, but I would say that drooling is a new thing. And the last symptom that I wrote down was heartburn. Still taking my Tums. They help, but the heartburn is, yeah, it's just not a good time. Our weekend, or I guess I would just say Friday ritual, has been to be going to the movies. And we have seen so many good movies lately. Like, I cannot even believe the amount of good movies that have been coming out every single week. The one thing that I was gonna mention about the movies was that theater that we go to, you walk in, you have to go up an escalator, and the escalator has been broken for like the last 3 weekends in a row. So you have to take the stairs, which is fine. Like, I don't actually mind taking the stairs at all, but how bad I need to pee walking up the stairs just kills me. I can't. This was the weekend where I was just like, I cannot take the stairs. We need to take the elevator. So we had to take the elevator up. But the movies that we have been seeing lately, they have been so good. So the really good movies that we have seen recently have been Den of Thieves, we have seen Death Wish, and then Red Sparrow with Jennifer Lawrence. Was so good. It was such a long movie, but it was amazing. Movies have been our thing lately, but we're not going to get to go to movies anymore once our baby is here. So that's just kind of being our every Friday night. That's everything for this week's update. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.